once upon a time in a world of magic, light, and darkness.
Chika scanned the bustling market square of Sabran, her eyes darting through the crowd. She was looking for someone. A gentle tap on her shoulder from behind made her jump. Heart racing, but relief washed over her when she turned to see the familiar, smiling face of Meisu. They both laughed as Chika caught her breath, realizing how tense she'd become. "I should have known it was you," Chika chuckled. Meisu grinned mischievously, her eyes sparkling. "You look like you'd seen a ghost. We're getting too good at sneaking out, I think. Master Vanni would lose it if he knew we were out here instead of doing our chores." Chika laughed at the thought, but inside, she knew how much they had been pushing their limits. Training had been intense lately, and Master Vanni was working them all harder than ever. Every day their skills seemed to grow, but it left little room for anything else. It was becoming harder to find time alone with Meisu, and Chika cherished these moments. Master Vanni. Meisu rolled her eyes dramatically. "I've got a list of insults saved up just for him. I'll be sure to deliver them once I graduate." Chika's laughter was genuine, but she was still shocked by Meisu's boldness. "I don't have anything bad to say about him. He's hard on us, but I get it. I just wish he'd stop sending me to that same place for my training." Meisu cocked her head, curiosity sparked. "What place?" Chika hesitated, not wanting to talk about it. She shrugged, trying to shake off the eerie feeling that always clung to her when she thought about that abandoned temple. "It's just a spooky old place. I don't want to talk about it." Meisu raised an eyebrow but didn't press. "Well, we're supposed to be having fun, not thinking about creepy stuff, right?" Chika smiled, relieved. "Exactly. We deserve it after all the work we've been doing. So, what should we do?" Meisu asked, her eyes scanning the market. "What should we eat?" Before Chika could respond, Meisu's eyes lit up. "Look, it's that old man from the boat ride to Sabran, the one who tells all those stories." Chika followed her gaze and saw the spirited old storyteller. From their journey, standing near a blacksmith's shop and drawing a small crowd. They hurried over, excited to hear what new tale he would spin. The old man's voice was strong, his story keyed and captivating as always. It was the Taba-Obi, the most feared and wicked shadow to ever walk this world, who stood before the gates of the Eternals, he said, his voice low and ominous. Taba-Obi and Sanuke, with plans of revenge and conquest, sought refuge for Milu, their sister, but not for themselves. No, they had other plans. Chika and Meisu were completely absorbed in the story, hanging on to every word, The old man's voice rose and fell, weaving the dark tale of the Taba-Obi's brutality as he wiped out entire armies of shadows, leaving no survivors in his wake. A special convention of the shadows was called, the greatest gathering of their kind since the great war between them and the Eternals. Gathered together, the shadows hoped to come up with a plan to confront the Taba-Obi, but what they didn't prepare for was the Black Shadow himself to make an appearance there. Taba-Obi decimated the gathering of shadows at the convention, while Sanuke laughed and cheered him on. The old man continued. In one night, the Black Shadow left the world forever changed, and the kingdoms trembled. The old man's voice lowered, drawing his audience closer. The kingdoms of the world saw the devastation wrought by Taba-Obi and knew they had to act. They began to organize, rallying their armies and preparing for a battle like none they had faced before. But even they knew they couldn't stand against such a force alone. So they called upon the Eternals, those ancient beings, for aid. He paused, his eyes scanning the crowd, letting the weight of the story sink in. The Eternals agreed to help, but with one condition. Milu, the Taba-Obi's sister who had sought refuge with them, was to remain unharmed, untouched by the coming conflict. She had chosen to live a life of service among the Eternals, and they would protect her. The crowd hung on every word, tension filling the air. The Eternals were powerful, nearly impossible to kill, and at first they did not fear the Taba-Obi. They believed their strength, their ancient wisdom would be enough. But the old man's voice dropped to a whisper. This would change. The audience shuddered, the gravity of the tale pressing down on them as the old man's words seemed to echo through the square. Chika shivered at the description of such power and destruction. The old man's words felt so real, as if they were living through the events themselves. The world he spoke of seemed so far removed from their own, but the threat of darkness was always looming in the distance. But before they could be completely swept away, a sound from behind broke their focus. Both Chika and Meisu spun around, only to be met with a dark smile that sent a chill down their spines. Thibaut Herzu stood there, watching them with assumption. "Enjoying yourselves," he sneered. "I'll bet Master Vanny will love to hear about this. I see my punishment lapse is appearing soon after I inform him." Panic instantly set in. Chika felt her stomach drop as Thibaut gave them one last gloating look and took off toward the academy, running faster than either of them could hope to catch. "We have to stop him." Meisu grabbed Chika's arm, already pulling her to follow. Chika's mind raced, knowing it was futile, but she still ran after Meisu. "Thibaut's faster than us. We'll never catch him." Chika called out between breaths, her feet pounding the dirt. But Meisu was determined, sprinting with all her might. They pushed themselves, but Thibaut was already far ahead, a distant figure closing in on the academy. The two girls eventually slowed to a stop, out of breath and filled with dread. Meisu bent over, panting, while Chika looked back toward the market, thinking of how the fun they had planned was now clouded by the thought of their impending punishment. "He's going to get us both into trouble," Meisu muttered, her voice filled with frustration. Chika nodded solemnly. "We're definitely in for it now."
I'll carry you in my heart as I travel.